This is a 28-inch monitor display that fits in your bag. This is a 130-inch TV display.
And this is a full-color screen smaller than a fingernail.
Hi, I'm Michael Josh, your gadget matchmaker, and over the last decade, I've made it my mission to show people around the world that the tech can be easy, fun, and exciting. On this channel, I get you special access to the gadgets I review, the places I go, and the things that bring me joy, and all the interesting people I get to meet along the way. So, if you like bleeding edge tech, come follow me, and I'll show you the right one to match your life. Hello from Los Angeles at Display Week 2026, where we're checking out all the exciting new display tech from TCL CSOT.
The screens we stare at all day get designed by a handful of companies most people have never heard of. This is one of them, TCL CSOT. They make panels for some of the biggest names in tech, and earlier this year, I actually got to walk through their factory in Shenzhen.
So, when they invited me to SID 2026 here in LA, basically the Olympics of display tech, to show me what they're showing off to the entire industry, I came running.
And the thing they want everyone here to walk away talking about isn't a product, it's a philosophy. They call it Apex. Apex is TCL CSOT's display technology brand. Their answer to the fact that we've been buried in spec sheets for way too long. And you know how I feel about that. Numbers don't really tell you whether a device, or in this case, a screen, is any good.
Apex is actually built on 4 things that actually matter to the human looking at a screen, and they've turned it into an acronym. Today's video is brought to you by the letters A, P, E, and X. TLDR, displays that look good, are easy on the eyes, are easy on the planet, and push forward what a screen can actually be.
Internally, Apex serves as a guiding framework for TCL CSOT's products and technology developments. Externally, it acts as a bridge to global consumers by clarifying display technology to simplify user decision journey.
So Apex is a vision. What does that mean on the technical side?
At TCL CSOT, innovation's value lies in meeting the demand for high-quality displays. Apex defines pixel innovation as its core direction.
Let's start with the display that matters the most, the phone in your pocket. The technology is called SuperPixel. And to explain why SuperPixel matters, let me first tell you about the phone that you're probably watching this video on.
Most phones today cheat a little bit. To cram high resolution into a small screen, neighboring pixels share subpixels, and software fills in the gaps. You can look it up, it's called subpixel rendering, or SPR.
It's been the standard for years and it works, but sometimes, if you know where to look, you'll find that the details get a little bit fuzzy around the edges. SuperPixel doesn't do that.
Every pixel gets its own dedicated red, green, and blue. That's where the actual detail comes from. On top of that, about 1.8% more subpixels packed in, so you get a much sharper image than the best smartphone displays offer today.
But wait, it's actually the side benefits that are honestly more interesting. Battery life and speed, which in this case means faster displays. For more on that, let's look over here. Okay, here's the part you shouldn't miss. Here at Display Week, TCL CSOT is showing us 3 different examples of SuperPixel in action. Here you can see they pushed for clarity. This is a traditional display, and over here is SuperPixel.
420 pixels per inch, basically no bezel, 0.5 millimeter on top, less than 1 millimeter on the sides. Brightness scales from 1 nit in the dark all the way up to 2000 nits in direct sunlight. Translation, you get a super sharp and crisp smartphone display and a super bright one too.
Number 2, they pushed it for battery. It's the same SuperPixel base, but as you can see, on this traditional display, you're pulling about 3000 milliwatts, and over here, just about 2000.
Refresh rates adapts down to as low as 1 frame per second when the screen is showing something static, and the panel can dim individual pixels instead of the whole screen, but it hits 2000 nits when you need it.
As you can see, that's about 25% less power being drawn by the phone's main display. That's so much more battery life in your pocket. And number 3, they pushed it for speed. 165 frames per second.
Most flagship phones today run at 120, some gaming phones hit 144 if you're lucky. For mobile gaming, that's huge. Lower input lag, smoother motion, brighter highlights when you're playing outside or near a window.
Okay, so Super Pixel was all about creating the best display for your smartphone. But this next one is a technology that can be any shape that you want it to be.
It's called inkjet-printed OLED, IJP OLED for short. Last month, while touring their factory, an engineer at TCL CSOT walked me through how IJP OLED works. Most OLED panels today are made by spraying material in a vacuum chamber. Expensive, hard to scale. IJP prints OLED instead, like an inkjet printer, but the ink is the actual red, green, and blue OLED material going onto glass.
Way less waste and cheaper to produce.
IJP OLED already demonstrates TCL CSOT's capability to manufacture high-end OLED products across all formats.
And here's how that capability shows up in the medium format.
A monitor. Folded, this is the size of a 16-inch laptop screen. Unfold it once, unfold it again, and now it's a 28-inch ultra-wide monitor. Crease is barely visible, about 4.5 millimeters thick unfolded, built-in stand, sits horizontal, vertical, or anywhere in between.
Now, this is the kind of technology that I knew was always coming, but didn't know who was going to make it. And speaking of, can somebody already take this technology and turn it into a product that we can actually buy? And TCL CSOT also brought a car.
They call the car the third living space, after your home and office. This one slides. Parked, it rolls back into the dash. Driving, it extends half screen, 2/3, or full.
So the driver gets the controls, the passenger gets a movie.
Same screen, different content, or you collapse it down to nothing, but nobody needs it. This one curves with the shape of your forearm. Your hand just naturally lands on it.
A monitor that folds into a backpack, a car cabin that wraps around you. Now, that's the high-tech feature that, from the looks of it, is already here.
Back to the factory. The line I actually walked through was where they make TVs.
And TVs are where TCL CSOT's biggest story is. Remember when I told you that you might not have heard of the brand, but probably already own a panel made by them? Well, this is where that gets really interesting. When you buy an 85-inch LCD TV from one of the big TV brands today, there's a really good chance that the panel inside was made by TCL CSOT. Other companies put their logo on the box, but TCL CSOT makes what's behind it. And that's because most of these big-name brands walked away from LCD years ago. TCL CSOT walked toward it, a bet that LCD wasn't done evolving. Which makes this panel really interesting. They're not trying to catch up anymore. They're the supplier to basically the industry at large, and this is them trying to push the technology past what it's been able to do.
Every TV uses red, green, and blue subpixels, or RGB. TCL CSOT added a fourth, cyan.
That fourth color expands the range. The skies look like the skies, the water looks like the water. So here's what hit me walking through this booth. Every display that you saw started from the same idea, rethinking the pixel itself, not the specs, the pixel.
And the results are what everyday people like you and me need. Best-in-class smartphone displays that consume less power, monitors that fold into your bag because the pixels were printed instead of sprayed, cars where the screens finally match futuristic shapes, and TVs with a fourth color so the sky finally looks like the sky. None of these are a concept. They're actually what's on production lines right now.
And the wild part is, a lot of it is going to end up in a product that you buy without you knowing that it came from right here.
That's TCL CSOT at SID 2026. That's Apex Pixel.